Welcome back to Flagrant and Foul. Today, we're going to review Ozark. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, turn off the episode, watch it later. Well, for the benefit of us, fuck that, ruin the show and watch the episode. But, spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
I got to start. Let's go from the beginning because you watched this a minute ago. You finished it up. I just finished it up last night.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, did you watch that 30-minute like making after Ozark or whatever?
No.
Okay, I thought it did a good job of like explaining why they did a lot of the shit they did, like why they did what they did with Ruth and different things.
Yeah.
But when this thing started, I feel like everybody had to feel bad for Jason Bateman, right? That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marty.
Feel bad for him, right? Because his wife's a cheating whore. He's sucked into all this dumb shit because he's got his partner, his wife, whatever. Everything was like outside influence put him in the place that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
But man, did he turn into a despicable motherfucker by the time that show was over.
Yep. Yeah, there's no one to feel sorry for at the end other than Ruth.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say Ruth is the only one at the end of the show that you have any compassion for. And the fact that she was only 23 years old, I think makes it, you're like, oh, fuck, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like the first episode, I'm not going to lie. I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't think they were going to re-up it because it was so crazy. I didn't think most people were going to watch it.
Yeah. Because it's to the point where when you're watching the first season even, the whole cartel involvement seems unbelievable.
Right.
Because it's such a isolated community. And I don't know if they came to work with the Snells.
Yeah.
Like he was laundering and then they found out there was heroin being made locally.
Right.
And what was that? Like, we're going to shut you down or?
Yeah, I think that was they were going to shut them down, but then remember they ended up needing their land and to partner up with them to get that casino.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of Marty and cunt ass Wendy moved everything around to like line that up. Oh, I fucking hate her, man. I fucking hate her.
I can't stand her fucking face. And it just gets worse as the show progresses. She's like such a control freak, dude.
And selfish. The most selfish. Like she gives a fuck about her kids. She didn't give a fuck about Marty. She didn't give a fuck about anything but what her aspirations were.
Yeah, her own image, which was fake as shit.
But one thing I found very interesting, if you look at it, I know it's the cartel, I know it's like criminal activity, but it's really a show about two families. Ruth's family and the Bird family.
Yeah.
And it's a show about how they are so opposite, but yet end up having to deal with a lot of the same bullshit, that kind of thing. And the fact that financially, right? Like there's a huge discrepancy, but they all get mixed up in this web. And because mostly of Wendy, Ruth pretty much loses fucking everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just the one cousin is alive come the end.
Yeah, and that's because he decided he was the only one who never did any illegal shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that family, he was the black sheep, the one not doing shit,
Yeah. Was that Wyatt?
That wasn't Wyatt's brother.
No, that's Trey as a kid, or 3.
Yeah.
3 was the redhead. I was going to say, was Wyatt really involved in any of like the heroin shit?
Well, he married fucking Darlene. He buried that body when Darlene shot the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, so, he made a choice to be involved, even if he wasn't directly involved, just by being with Darlene, always having Ruth's back, that kind of shit. He's a guy that when he died, you almost felt bad for because he was just dumb and made really bad fucking decisions.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed Jacob Snell. Like I've told you, that motherfucker looked just like your dad.
Oh, it's funny. My wife and I were going to go as him and Darlene one year for Halloween, but we couldn't find the right shit to make it work.
Yeah.
But that was who we were, huh?
To you, does he remind you of your dad?
A little.
Yeah, probably not as much for you because you got his whole face down, For me, it's the beard.
No, a little, and the not giving a fuck what you wear type thing. That the clothes that kind of flannels, the beard.
Yep. Just hard. but he seemed like such a nice dude, but he'll fuck you up.
Yeah, he was going to kill his own wife, but she flipped the script on him.
Yeah. Was he walking around there to do it himself that day?
Yeah, remember he was going to fucking kill her, and then she got him first?
Yeah. That sucked.
Yeah, because I hated Darlene, too.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing about Wendy early on. You don't really notice so much about Wendy's been like how she is at the end through the whole thing. But you had that crazy-ass Darlene. You had all the problems with the baby. With the fucking preacher's baby, and you think, oh, Wendy's just like caught up in it like Marty. Poor Wendy and Marty. But like you said, she's the one that escalates things.
That was a pretty slick way to move product, though, through the church on boats.
Yeah, that was.
They were moving it into the Bibles. Like, that was pretty fucking slick way to move all that product. They did a pretty good job of making it as realistic as they could for a situation that most of us could never wrap our head around being in.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying it seems unbelievable. It's so entertaining, you don't really care. Like if they got it right.
Even with all the shit I did in my lifetime growing up, I would have never fucked with the cartel. I was way too smart for that. You know what I mean?
Or anybody moving fucking heroin, dude.
Right. And so I can't, even as somebody who did a lot of fucked up, dumb shit, I can't even wrap my head around being in the position they put themselves in.
Like, I don't know if you can or want to say this, but did you just sell weed?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, don't get me wrong. If somebody had like acid when I was 17, 18 and you get your hands on it. But yeah, I was never like selling coke or heroin or fucking that kind of shit.
What were they after when they put the guns on you?
Which time?
The one in Tomahawk when you were a minor out at Warwick's house.
Oh, they were just raiding that place and we were all there.
Didn't they fucking pin you down with a rifle on your head?
No, I got put against the car with guns on me, but I hadn't even pulled in yet. Me and who the fuck was with me? That Jana chick?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that whole place fucking blocked off, and when we pulled in.
Was that primarily over fucking weed?
For them, I was just dropping Jana off.
Right.
Yeah, but they raided them for weed.
That's a fucking crazy ass. You'd think like just the Tomahawk cops could have done that.
I think it's because who the guy's dad was.
Yeah.
Being that he was outlaw from the clubs. It was the motorcycle club. Yeah. But I don't want to put that out on blast because you know what I mean. But you know who I'm talking about. And I think that's why, because his dad was an outlaw and that's why they came in so heavy.
Yeah. That makes sense, I guess. You think they did do a little fucking recon.
I think it's more for show when they do shit like that. And then they can say, son of fucking outlaw bikers, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know his son was not involved in the biker world, but because if you know him, you just know he wasn't involved in the biker world. But yeah, I was locked up with him too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Jackson.
Ooh, was that a problem?
No, we just never spoke to each other.
Oh, that's good.
Different units, mean mugged when you walk by each other. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I was so close to getting out, though. I don't think he could have got me to fight.
Yeah.
Like he'd literally had to start hitting me for me to defend myself because I was like weeks from going home.
Right.
There wasn't a single word out your mouth that could have got me to go to the hole and chase my release date.
True. I can only imagine.
Right, but there's a lot of people in there. You don't even tell them when you're getting out because some people, like, because I'm under the old law, so you could only force me to sit 2/3.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the hole for every 2 days you sit in the hole, it extends your release day 1 day out to your mandatory release. So I had 6 years. I sat 4, but because I went to the hole for a year, I ended up sitting 4 years, 5 months, and 28 days. That's where the 5 months and 28 days come from.
Wow.
But they could have never hold me a day past 6, if that makes sense.
So you were in the hole almost a year?
368 days.
Like here and there?
No, straight.
Oh my God.
So off topic of Ozark, I got into a fight in the Chaw Hall with this gay dude, but he was 6'5", 240 when I first got in there, and he was an ex-Golden Glove boxer, even though he was 50. The dude, or he liked to be called Joyce, so whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kept calling me girlfriend, so I fucking warned him.
Yeah.
Fucking watch your mouth, and if you call me girlfriend again, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was big, and he called me girlfriend. So on the next fucking time we went to the chow hall, that's where I fucked up, the chow hall.
Mm-hmm.
I put my padlock on my belt, and I just cracked him in the head in the fucking chow hall line and then started kicking him.
Yeah.
Well, the gays are like a gang in there. Plus, when I was running with the Royals, so all the folks jumped up, all the gay people jumped up, and they gave me an 8 and 360 for inciting a riot.
Jesus Christ.
If I'd have did it outside the chow hall, it'd have been like 30 days in the hole.
Yeah.
But because about 10 other people got into a fight,
yeah,
I got it for inciting a riot.
That's Proctor.
That's almost like the 5th grade, hell no, we won't go.
Uh-huh. I'm not surprised.
Hey, man, just in my defense for that hell no, we won't go in 5th grade, at no point did I think every 5th grader outside was going to start chanting with me. I was just joking.
I know, right?
It was just a fucking joke, and next thing I know, everybody's chanting hell no, we won't go.
Angie Kopp started going off about the war, and next thing you know, like everybody was flipping the fuck out. I wanted to go inside. It was cold.
Oh, that's right, because she was like so smart. I don't know if she ended up being valedictorian, but she could have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, her and a couple other girls started chanting 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want this fucking war. Like,
I know, right?
Was that during the first Gulf War?
Yeah.
We were in like 5th grade. What the fuck are you doing a political chant for?
Yeah,
like for
6th
real.
grade. It's because she watched the news and shit.
I know, but I was just joking. They're like, you guys don't have jackets on. You got to go inside. And I'm like, hell no, we won't go. And next thing I know, it was like, I lit the fireworks and they all went off.
Yep.
Being the guy I am now, when they told me to go to every class and apologize, I'd have told them to fuck themselves. But as a 6th grader, I went around and apologized.
Yeah. Then they made you do it in the auditorium in front of everyone.
Yeah, see, being
not to make fun of you, but
hey, that's probably part of the reason I tell people to fuck themselves now.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. I remember you were crying, and we were kind of pissed. Like, it's not his fault, and shit got out of hand in the auditorium too.
I do remember. So you said something about Matt Vorman's last time we recorded.
Really?
Yeah, out on the playground, and you asked me if I remembered him.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you remember when we were in the auditorium in 6th grade for that sexual health class? Do you remember what he asked in front of the whole auditorium?
Something about ass fucking, right?
No,
if you come in their mouth.
No. It made of red flags. If I was a teacher, would have went up. There was weird questions, but his was, can a girl get pregnant if she's raped?
What? Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that should have sent some red flags up. But I'm not saying he did anything. I'm just saying, like, that kind of question.
Farm life, I guess he's seen some things. I don't fucking know. I know what it was. I said he used to do flips, and now we're talking about rape.
Yeah, flips to rape. That's what he does after the rape.
Uh-huh.
He just gets up and does a flip in the ring. All WWE promo afterwards.
Yeah, fucking
and
McAfee.
That's why we call it flagrant and foul.
Did you see McAfee?
I always watch McAfee. You mean at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Is that motherfucker more athletic than you assumed?
Yeah.
The way he just jumped up on that fucking rope.
Yeah. He did a fucking backflip, dude.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Fucking
Very
crazy.
impressive.
Punter. He's a punter. Who'd have fucking thought that shit?
I do have a problem with the fact that they let Vince McMahon beat him up afterwards.
Yeah. He probably agreed to it, I'm sure.
No, I know it's all like what it is, but like,
yeah.
Come on, man. Pat just beat up your fucking protege.
Yeah.
So Pat says now that his no longer Austin Theory, he's just Theory because he beat off his first name.
Good. I hate that kid.
All right. As we digress, but let's go back into Ozark. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's the
basically.
Oh, go ahead.
They're in a, what would you say? It's about the heroin, local production versus import.
Yeah. And then it becomes more about the money laundering than the actual drugs itself at some point. You know what I mean with the casino?
Yeah, and a constant push by that. What's the guy's name that runs the cartel who gets put in prison?
Oh, fuck. I just finished it last night. Navarro?
Yeah, the older Navarro.
Okay. Yeah.
He kept pushing for more and more money to be laundered because he wants to retire, and that's the main problem leading into the end of the previous to last season.
The
And
one
then,
where the finale where they take that chick's back of her head off?
oh yeah, that Big Bird bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That season. Yeah. And that's where I thought the beginning of the end for the birds was. Like, I thought this whole thing was going to end in complete tragedy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real. I thought there's no way you can get out of this. Everything was working out so well for the wife that you figure you can't be right every time in something like that high stakes. They've got all the fucking information they need from them because they tried to get that guy arrested, and then that FBI lady come along and screwed their deal, so they were worthless to the FBI leading into the last season almost because they had already arrested him. I don't see why they weren't fucking brought up on charges.
Only because the government needed that laundered money and they kept coming up with ways that they could keep laundering that money for the government.
That's right. They were going to cut a deal with Navarro to keep moving heroin so that the government could do the seizures and use that money for whatever.
Right.
That's dirty, and that reminds me of fucking the one Snowfall.
Oh yeah. That's another family tragedy too. But with Wendy though, like and then in the season we're talking about, okay, Ben was a big fucking problem, her brother. I get that. But the way
Mm-hmm.
she handled that, like, holy fuck, you offed your own brother.
Yeah, like actually actively was part of it. It wasn't like you have to get rid of him for us. She fucking drove his ass.
Yeah.
That's a filthy bitch.
Yeah, and it explains why Jonah ends up the way he is, even though I wanted to smack the fuck out of him multiple times. It's like, bro, it's your fucking family. And I get you
Yeah.
can't stand them. But this isn't a game of my parents going to jail. This isn't a game of I hate my fucking parents. This is literally life and death for your whole family. And you keep doing shit that keeps putting the family in danger, including yourself and your sister, and you're never going to get out of it because of the like you're telling Ruth this, you're telling Darlene that. You got to go and work on your own to try to like piss on your mom's leg. It was just I was getting so fucking irritated with that kid.
Yeah. And then John Boy Walton showed up. The fucking grandpa.
Oh, that fucking fake Christian, alcoholic, fucking narcissistic motherfucker. He was as bad as Wendy.
Yeah.
He just hid it behind a I'm a Christian fucking flag.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty good.
Which happens way too much, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
No, I watched a lot of people who hide behind that Christian banner not be as a Christian as they really want to make themselves out to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
because they make their show of it.
yeah. Yeah, and if you really follow the Bible, it says clothe the needy, feed the poor, cure the sick, not cure the rich, white, middle class, straight people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think you got them all.
Yeah. Well, and then
it doesn't say anything in the book like fuck the gays and the Negroes.
No, yeah, it doesn't. Or the poor. Like it actually says to help the poor. Like I remember this time where Jesus flipped the tables of the bankers. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so but that goes to the root of this whole show. Money is the root of the evil in this whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jonah's like, Dad, I'm worth 7 figures.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah. He's like fucking 15.
Yeah, I'm worth 7 figures. Like, okay. And then the daughter seemed to be the one who was stuck in the absolute worst position of trying to keep the family together. And she's supposed to be what, 17, 18 in this show? Like, really? You're the one who has to try to keep the family together?
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't much to her involvement in the end. It just more so like she's helpless.
Yeah, I mean, she did whatever she could to try to get him out of it, but every one of them, by the end of the show, despised Wendy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he even had to fucking flat out tell his kids, "I fucking hate her." You know, when they're
But
out,
I
it's
love
just him
her.
and the daughter. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
can't do it. I can't handle it.
It was, and I know we were supposed to hate Wendy, but she really made my fucking skin crawl.
Yeah, yeah. To the point was it supposed to be that bad? Because leading, like I said before earlier, there were some redeeming qualities. Like she cared about that baby for real. You know,
Right.
it's just I don't want that baby with the fucking Snells because that Darlene bitch is a psycho. But then after that, it's like once the FBI got involved, she flipped and she got that fucking dude, that bearded fuck. She got involved with those senators, like you were saying. She's more concerned about her aspirations and her family. Power hungry.
And who ended up with the baby? I can't even remember when they got killed.
Uh, no idea.
Yeah,
The
I'm not even sure
police.
what happened to the fucking baby, and I just finished it.
Yeah, I
See,
don't think they really implied. Like, I think the cops came and did Ruth take the baby
she did, and
when
I
she
can't
found him?
remember who. She had somebody watch it, and then the person brought the baby back, and then I can't remember where the fucking baby went.
Yeah, maybe they just punted it into the fucking river. Who knows?
And then, like, okay, I'm gonna get fucking tanked for this one on the internet, but is it just me, or is this a show of every sideways twist came from some crazy chick in this fucking show?
Yeah, it did. Because Navarro's fucking sister.
Darlene, Wendy, like it just seems like everything came from psycho women instead of psycho guys for once.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Well, Navarro's sister was something fucking else too.
Yeah, for real. That was like what happened to Ruth. You got to kind of expect they'd have sent someone after her. And they did. The fucking hitman ended up getting sniped off the trailer. But the lady come and did it herself. I'm just thinking, why the fuck is Ruth not armed at the end?
Because she thinks it's over. Like she oddly thinks they're all in the clear. But again, it goes back to Wendy because Ruth only dies because Wendy has to go downstairs and dick wave this fucking big time senator and tell him he ain't shit and they don't need him, because if she doesn't do that, then they could go out with that plan to have Navarro brought back to Mexico.
Yeah.
And Ruth is still alive because they sniped the sister instead.
Yeah.
And you knew that bitch from the drug corporation was going to give Ruth up quick as soon as she said that, and she did.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to give up the birds too.
Yeah, but she was involved.
Right, but I thought, oh, she's going to get scared and just tell everything, right?
Mm-hmm. It did. It felt that way because they were all scared. That was rough. So to anyone who hasn't seen it, Ruth fucking kills Javi, the nephew of Navarro, in cold blood right in front of the birds and the bitch from the
pharmacy
corporation, the drug corporation.
She didn't hesitate either.
Mm-mm.
He walked in and said, "Hey, like he was done. There was no conversation. No, you killed my cousin." She just took him out.
Yep, that's why I was saying ruthless.
Yeah, and Ruth was the best character of this whole show for me.
Yeah.
She was the Ozarks. You know what I mean? Like for the show, she was the Ozarks. And it's almost like she had to go through so much tragedy in her life that the ending was actually perfectly fitting for Ruth to go out like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she went out telling that chick to go fuck herself too.
Yes, she did. You doing this shit or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just the final ending, it's left open. like I was saying, it's gonna fucking. I could see them bringing it back years down the road for
Are
how
we all in
successful it
agreement?
was.
Jonah smoked that motherfucker to end the thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Marty gave him the nod, like, yeah, you have to do this.
And Jonah being, it seems fitting for Jonah because Jonah wanted out so bad, but Jonah had seen so much stuff that Jonah was willing to do the one thing he had to do at the end, almost redeeming all the other shit he did to save his family and get them out.
Do you think that gets them out? Like, are they going to get out of all of it?
Well, they were out of it until he showed up with the cookie jar.
Yeah.
And so when he's like, this is the DNA I need, you don't get to win. You're not the Kennedys. You're not the Rockefellers or whatever he said. And then Jonah gets to be the one to save the family. I almost thought was kind of poetic in the scheme of the show.
Yeah, I thought that was a little fucking like, who does he become after that, though? You know, like, are they going to, I don't see you going living in a fucking honest life.
See, I do for Jonah. I think that was like the end. Like he was ending it all. So I see this. I don't know why in my head I see this kid going to college, becoming something, and this being a growth story of how, like, you know. But maybe I'm wrong, like because he seems so different.
Yeah,
both of the kids kind of seem different than their parents.
Yeah, like he could get by without doing illegal shit.
Yeah, and
as
they
smart
still,
as he is.
both of them are really smart, but Jonah's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that does make sense. So basically, regardless of that final scene, like when they leave the casino, they're free and clear.
Yeah, right. Because they say they're done with the FBI. The FBI's now got Ruth the casino to launder the money. They have a written agreement. The chick's taking over the cartel. The birds are moving back to Chicago to do their political thing. They're free.
So that leaves the lady that owned the Blue Cat to run the casino.
Correct. After Ruth gets smoked. Right.
That's fucked up.
And so I would think for Jonah, it was like, this is the last thing that needs to be done, and we're finally free, because I feel like as much shit he did, he still had a moral compass through the whole thing, which is what actually made him do the shit that pissed me off. So I feel like, I don't know why in my head, when it ended, I'm like, oh, the kids are going to be fine and the birds are going to turn into political assholes.
Yeah, that does make more sense.
But I'm the weirdo who liked the fade to black from The Sopranos. Okay. So like most people didn't. I like the way they ended this even more by fading to black and then you hear the gunshot, right? Because we're all assuming the same thing, but we'll never know for sure unless they come back with something else.
Yeah. On The Sopranos, did they imply
Tony
was shot?
Found out when we were on. What happened was they were planning to do the Entourage thing where you end the series and then do a 2-hour movie to end the show.
Yeah.
And then James Galileo, whatever the fuck, died of cocaine, so they never had a chance to finish out but they I keep forgetting the guy who wrote it because I keep thinking David Simon, but that's The Wire and We Own the City. He kept saying that he just wanted, at that point, it was to leave it open you to decide, did Tony get killed or live at that point? And then they were going to come back and kind of finish it off.
Yeah.
And it's like with all the haters of the movie, The Saints of Newark.
Yeah.
That wasn't meant to be a theatrical fucking like go to the movies and watch it type movie.
Yeah.
That was meant to be a setup for the new series that's coming out in the future with Tony's kid.
Yeah. Is it going to be him as young Tony?
Yeah, that's what I was reading anyway.
That's cool. I didn't mind it. Like when it came out, when it came out, I was just like, I don't really like The Sopranos that much to begin with.
Okay.
And it seemed like, it's cool, but there wasn't a whole lot of new information other than like they actually showed a lot of the shit they were talking about, like when his dad shot his mom through her wig and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't feel like it was forced in there, but I'm like, oh, so all that shit happened within this 2 weeks time? Growing up, they only talked about that 2-week period of life where all this bad shit happened. Chris's dad died. My dad was fucking almost shot my mom in her fucking head,
Right.
I did like how they showed it was Junior who fucking smoked Chris's dad because I always assumed it was Tony.
Okay. And then for the like, I'm a big Sopranos fan. So teaser, the next episode we're going to give you a list of each of our top 10 series that we think you all should watch and why you should watch them. Sounds like Sopranos ain't making yours, but it will definitely be in mine. So there's a little teaser for next episode.
Sounds good.
So I know you're a big fan of Ozarks. You don't have to tell where it rates right now, but what was it about this show that just like grabbed you right away and go, wow, I really like this show?
It was Marty's desperation, you know, like how you said, he's just thrown into this and it's all just to survive. He totally hustled that fucking dude. Like, oh, I can just wash this money. I'll go down and I'll just be washing fucking cash. He had no idea if it would fucking work.
Right.
And that Isai Morales, the first representative of the cartel, he was fucking ruthless, dude. And I thought for sure, like, there's no way this guy's family gets out of this alive.
Right.
And they'd always seem like, oh, this is it. One of these family members is gonna get fucking killed. Because in the Snells, you know, they would threaten the children and shit like that. And it's totally like you said and I said, it's unbelievable, but it's so entertaining and fast paced. Even for a TV show, it's like they're constantly escaping death.
It's hard for us to wrap our head around, but I almost think if you think about a bad dealing with the cartel, it might not be that far off base. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if you get caught in that kind of thing where they need you to keep clearing their money, but you keep fucking up, I'm not sure how bad that would go.
Exactly. And that's like, those are the people, like those facilitators, you know, those are the people that are on the fucking radar for the government, you know, like the FBI and shit. That's who they go for because they want to stop the fucking money because that cripples the fucking whole operation.
So I've never seen an episode of Arrested Development. Never. So I can't say I like Bateman from there. But growing up, what was it called? The Hogan family or whatever is the first thing I remember him from, right? And he always seemed like that nice, likable guy. So when he was going into the drug cartel world in a show, that's what intrigued me to watch it. But Ruth's family is what kept me coming back.
Yeah, like
that redneck family was so entertaining to watch.
Like that shit with that redneck uncle, the redhead uncle.
Oh, when she goes, "Get out of here, fuck nugget." To him, yeah.
Yeah. Just the whole I'm gonna just fall in love with this gay FBI dude.
Right.
That shit threw me. I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? And then the fucking private detective looked just like the gay FBI guy.
Did you know Bateman directed this thing?
The whole thing?
A lot of it. He was supposed to direct the whole first season. That was how they got him aboard, but he could only do some of them because of time constraints. Yeah. And I know he directed a lot of the last season, the 2 parts, but he definitely did the finale.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the only way they could get him on board to do the show.
That's fucking weird because he made his comeback doing comedies.
Yeah, I think he was doing some directing, though, and that's where his passion is now. So he's like, if I'm going to come back and do the show, I want to direct it.
Sweet.
And he said that the whole thing, he said, you never hit a target when you're making a show. It just never happens, right? You're 100% vision at the beginning because your vision changes. Yeah. He said this is one of the few shows where they nearly hit the target.
Like what they had planned from the get-go?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they kept that all under wraps.
Crashed, too. I'm still not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they wanted to imply like some divine intervention there because of her dad or some shit, you know.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that because I was just praying Wendy was dead because my wife goes, I don't think she's wearing her seatbelt. And I go, really? And I got excited. And then
we were watching that one, like, or we had just seen it. And I kept wanting to tell you, like, I hope this fucking bitch dies.
Okay.
Because you hadn't even started it yet, but I knew I would start fucking ruin it by saying, oh, she didn't die here.
Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't bring myself to do the 2 parts. I had to wait till they were both released on Netflix to watch it because I hate waiting like week to week or that kind of shit. So as much as I love Stranger Things, I probably won't touch that when the first half of the season drops.
Yeah, I hear you. There's all like I stopped watching that We Own the City until it's done.
I fucking love that show though. I'm not going to lie to you. Good.
The Offer. I've been watching it as it comes out because I think that's really fucking interesting.
That and the Mayans, I can't help myself because like I need to know what
Mhm.
happens next on the Mayans. I just wish I had all 10 episodes at
Yeah,
once.
Mayans, they know how to time that shit. We're like, you're coming back to see this shit.
Yellowstone too.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
maybe I just
especially their
like Yellowstone
cliffhangers.
so much that I'm not waiting. You know what I
No,
mean?
they do it right. Like you have to see the next one with Yellowstone because they fucking time it perfectly, dude.
So I'm so jonesing for Yellowstone. I went and this last week rewatched the Hatfields and McCoys.
Really?
Yeah, because it's Kevin Costner, 3 hour or 6 hours of like cowboy shit.
Yeah,
It's a good show though. Like you watch it ever? The
I'm not
three-part
sure.
miniseries, 2 hours each. Him and Bill Paxton.
No, I would watch it though.
Fuck. So
That
Bill
sounds good.
Paxton is the matriarch of the McCoys, and Kevin Costner is the matriarch of the Hatfields. They're best friends in the Civil War. Then some shit happens, and then it's brutal for 6 hours.
Yeah,
Like, check it out though. Like, I just finished it up this morning of rewatching it.
yeah. Well, who made it? HBO? Or is it
I
just like
almost want to say like fucking history or something,
wow?
but I don't think it. Or wait, maybe it was one of. It didn't go straight to TV because they say fuck on it.
Oh, cool, good.
But it's not made by like HBO or something. It's made by somebody else. But like one of those Paramount things. But I think it was before Paramount was doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went and watched it on my Fire Stick, so I'm not quite sure who.
yeah, I hear you. I don't know where the fuck it came from. It's just on my TV.
Yeah, it's just on my Fire Stick.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Nothing like good old APKs to make TV watching a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah. I still run this shit off the computer to the TV.
It actually runs better. Like I have a Firebox because I wanted to be able to hardline it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't use like the fucking. I got a Roku and I got a Chromecast, but that technology is bullshit.
The Roku works way better than the Fire Stick with on the wireless too. So you want to hardline a Fire Stick.
Yeah, and they got a box for it.
Yeah, and now you don't need the box to hardline them. Now they make the attachment. But back when I got mine, the only one that you could hardline was the box. So instead of paying $30, I had to pay $100.
Yeah.
But I use Alexa for everything, so that voice activated Alexa is really nice.
Like you can stop it and shit.
Yeah, I could be in the kitchen and be like, Alexa, turn it up. You can get smart plugs and say, Alexa, shut off the lights. Alexa, fucking turn up the heat.
That's cool.
Like if you're searching for something on YouTube, you just be like, Alexa, find this on YouTube.
That's awesome.
So nothing like wiretapping your own house for convenience.
Right. Exactly. That's why I don't have one. My phone was tapped for like 20 fucking years because of my dad, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Just like the whole fucking time we lived in Rapids.
The whole time I was growing up, I'm pretty sure our phone was tapped off and on because of my dad and then me.
Right.
Well, my dad got accused of a lot of shit he wasn't doing because of the shit he used to do before he bought the bar. But the day he bought the bar was the day he said he was never doing illegal shit.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose it.
No, so he parlayed that money from selling weed into buying the bar. You know? Yeah. I think that was the down payment, but that was the crux to why he sold weed because he was trying to, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's just fucking weed, dude.
Plus, I remember, I won't throw his name out there, but you'll know who I'm talking about. A cop used to come to the house and buy it from him.
I hate that fucker.
Bald
mustache.
No, the one who had to quit being a cop and went to the rehab, and we know his son and daughter. I'll tell you after we're off the air.
Oh, fuck! You come right to the house, huh?
Yeah, they were friends though, so it wasn't weird. Like they've been friends for a long time, you know. So, but yeah, I don't want to put his name out there. He was a great guy, and he got caught by the DNR smoking weed while he was fishing, and he was a cop, and it was the 90s, so it was a way bigger deal then than it is now, and you know, his poor family got embarrassed. It hit the newspaper. It was You're
dropping lots of hints. You talking about the D?
No.
Oh.
No, I'll tell you when we're done recording, but you'll know.
The B?
Nope. Or were you thinking Braun Barrett? Because that's not it.
who the fuck else was there besides the C?
Yeah, I'm afraid that if I say the initials, that people from that area will just jump on it right away too.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody will ever watch this, but well, from that area, like we get some views. Just I don't know if they're actually coming from the Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely really liked Ozark, even though there was parts in it where I wanted to get up and stop watching, like when Wendy was on her knees in front of her dad begging for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was almost embarrassed for her and I hated her. It was like I just wanted to like walk out of the room.
Yep. I think the worst part about that was when you realize like he was everything she said he was.
Yeah, and more, right? Like, like, oh, and mom knew you cheated. I never cheated. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And you knew it was true because she didn't get defensive. She just was like, yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
And the dad could try to deny whatever.
Yeah, and all that, and you're still a bitch, though.
Well, but now you understand why she's a cunt, because she was raised by a fucking cunt dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A cunt dude.
Yeah, fuck that. Like that is the show that probably has the most people I've despised, and it's probably why I like the show so much, because there's a few people to cling on to, but there's a lot of people to hate.
Yeah, and I think that's a draw for TV. Like plenty of fucking.
So for Mayans, as much as I hate Contry, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Mayan from Arizona.
Yeah.
What would the show be without him right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I really wish he would have died in the explosion. I really wish this dude would die at some point. But where would the show be without him right now? Because that conflict is what keeps drawing us back in.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you love to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
The same reason I watch Floyd Mayweather fight, because I pray somebody's going to knock him out.
Really?
Yeah, not a fan of Floyd.
He's very, what's the word?
My issue with Floyd is that he dodged a lot of the best fighters until they were old. Or in the reverse, he made sure he caught Canelo when he was way too young on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not saying isn't smart for your trying to be undefeated career.
Wasn't that an exhibition?
No, he beat up Canelo when Canelo was like 22 or something.
Yeah, I seen that one. Did they only fight the one time?
Yeah, and then he waited to fight Pacquiao. He waited to fight, De La Hoya. It's the same thing that, like he never fought Trinidad, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he avoided some guys till it was advantageous for him to fight him, and then you're like, well, fuck you. That's what I didn't like about him, because we grew up in the old age, and then granted it was on the end of the old age, but Muhammad Ali fought everybody. George Foreman fought everybody. Mike Tyson fought everybody. Lennox Lewis didn't give a fuck, fought everybody. Now it's weird in boxing. If you get a loss, they hold it against you forever. Whereas back then, all those greats had losses because they fought each other. Mm-hmm. MMA, everybody loses at some point. So you don't, like a dude in MMA can get beat up 3 times in a row and then come on a tear and start beating up the best guys in the world, and he gets his respect. But look at Canelo. Canelo, by losing this last fight, he just fucked himself.
Forever? Like he'll never.
Yeah, maybe. Like that. Like he already had a loss before, but people forgave that Floyd loss, right?
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. So like a dude with less wins, but no knockouts or losses, is going to be held in higher respect.
Because of Floyd, right? This is why I'm blaming Floyd for what happened to boxing, even though it's probably not his fault, but he padded his record and he made it to the point where Rocky Marciano 50-0, him 50-0, like, you know what I mean? It's like now you're never going to be in the talk for the pound for pound greatest or whatever if you get a loss. And I feel like Floyd probably have a loss if he'd have fought these guys when they were in their prime instead of dodging everybody. And I hate the fact that boxing is so fucking corrupt too.
Yeah, that's always been.
Bob Arum is the biggest scumbag in the world. And he's
one of the biggest
boxing promoters.
How about now that gambling is more legal?
See, they better really start to regulate it, because boxing, I'm not saying it's happening, but the easiest sports to rig are one-on-one sports.
Yeah. And it's the easiest to disguise as a real knockout.
If somebody knows what they're doing, absolutely, right? Like if you can play along, or you catch a good punch and just decide to go down and you don't look, if you're not afraid to actually take the fall.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So with MMA, what's the turnaround? Like, say, this guy who just lost. I think he already had a loss, didn't he?
Who are we talking about?
The guy you were saying he just got kicked in the face. I know his
Tony
face.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson's got a few losses. See, Tony's problem is he's older, though, and he's lost his last few fights. Like, he was one of the best fighters, but now everybody's like, what's Tony got left? Tony is 40. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And that's actually on my fight picks why I picked Chandler to win, because I don't know what Tony Ferguson has left. But now you got guys like, if Chandler would have lost that fight, it'd have been bad for him because he'd have took 3 losses in a row, even though they were the monsters. But think about it. He lost to 2 monsters, and they still gave him Ferguson because he had a reputation of, this dude can fight, but he lost to 2 of the best fighters in the world.
Right.
Now, boxing doesn't do that, and that's my problem. Like, we don't take into account, like, yeah, he lost, but he lost to some killer.
And my thing is, like, how do they decide, like, those 2 guys just beat him? Why aren't they pushed forward?
Well, Tony's coming off a couple losses too, so it was a good way to give 2 monster guys who lost to some killers a chance back up the thing. You know, you 2 losers fight, the winner gets to go up, the loser's kind of fucked.
Is that Ferguson, the guy who was underweight?
Who missed weight? No, that was Oliveira.
Yeah. Okay.
But that, the more I keep reading, that had something to do with a weird scale.
Yeah,
so
it was
I kind of
less
feel
than
bad.
a pound.
Huh?
Less than a pound, you know?
Yeah, and if they were fighting in Nevada instead of Boston, he would have been fine because you get a 1 pound leeway in Nevada. So that kind of shit is weird to me too. Different commissions doing different things.
Let me check. I'm going to see if I've seen that one or not.
Now, Oliveira, though, he went out there and shut everybody up by winning that fight decisively. And yeah, even though they took the belt from you, you're still the champ.
Yeah.
And his next fight will be for the belt again.
Who does he fight?
Well, I don't know who Dana's going to give him exactly yet. Also, I don't think he'll ever agree to fight in Missouri or Massachusetts again.
I wouldn't blame him.
You know what I mean? I'm not doing it. I'll fight in Vegas. I'll fight in California. Give me that 1 pound leeway, so there's not some kind of screw up. Because on their scale that they have to check their weight, he was on weight for over 12 hours, goes out to weigh in, and he's a half a pound over on the official scale. And then they give him another hour to burn that. But here's the problem. He had no more water weight to cut, so he can't even sweat anything else out. You know what I mean?
Right.
If those scales were the same, he would have had another day or 2 to figure out how to get out that half a pound, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I have a problem with cutting too. Like, California wants to pass this law where you have to be hydrated when you weigh in.
Yeah.
Like X amount of hydration. So guys fight at their real weights instead of draining all that fucking water weight to make 155. And then by the time you get in the ring the next day, you're already weighing 185 again.
Yeah.
Like, it's unhealthy.
It is.
And for some reason, women can't keep doing that. Their bodies stop cutting weight after, so many years of doing it. So they have to keep switching weight classes. So that's just more proof to me that probably nobody should be cutting this much weight, and they should just get healthy and fight at their regular weight.
Yeah. But then their frame kind of decides that, like, are they too small to bump up?
But then everybody would be moving up. Like all these 55ers would be fighting around 70 anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you got the guy who's going to get fucked and be with that big-ass African guy.
Oh, with Francis Ngannou?
I wouldn't want to get bumped up into that shit,
Yeah, but that's fucking 206 pounds to 265 pounds. They need to put a 225 weight class in there. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
that's exactly what I'm
cuts
saying.
Weight to make 265 pounds.
Mm-hmm. And then
most heavyweight fight at 225 to 240.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I almost think you need to have a 225 weight limit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because at his size,
do it. And why does it go from one? Okay, so it goes 125, 135, 145, 155, 170. Why? Why doesn't it go 65? Because then it goes from 75 to 85. So why don't you just go 55, 65, 75, 85? so that these guys can have more weight so they don't have to cut so much to 155.
Mm-hmm.
Because 55 is where you have the most problems because there's such a gap between.
Yeah. To 75.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense to me to the 170. Why is there?
Is that an average?
What do you mean?
You figure maybe that's an average size for a guy around that height?
Well, USC used to, when they first started, only had 170, 185, 205 heavyweight. They never had any of the lighter weights. So
Yeah.
all the lighter guys had to fight at 70.
Yeah.
So they just never changed it when they brought in the lighter weights. But I'm like, it's 2022. We can make some changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And Dana's got way more than enough fighters to fill those weight classes.
Yeah. Those are good fights, too, the smaller guys.
Yeah.
They just keep fucking going, dude.
And that 55 range, they have some decent knockout power, too.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas those, when you get to like 25, not so many of those guys have devastating knockout power.
Yeah.
That's like my wife and I will be watching and she'll be like, why isn't the ref stopping it? I'll be like, because he's a 155er or he's a 145er. She's like, what? I'm like, if he's a 185er, he'd already stopped it because of the force of those punches. But he's giving the lighter guy a chance to recover because they're not as devastating of punches.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get out of here and end this whole thing, though, what do you give it? A scale 1 to 10, what would you say on Ozark?
The end is kind of disappointing. So I'd say 8 out of 10.
If we were just, see, this is weird. I would give the whole thing at maybe like a 7 or an 8. But if you made me rate the end, I'm giving it a 10.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's not what I was expecting.
See, I liked it though.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it gave me enough to feel like they tied everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so used to shows botching endings nowadays that I was like, okay, I like this one.
I was along the lines of like, they took Ruth's whole fucking family from her. So, and she had so much to lose in comparison to what the Birds had already had in life. It was way more tragic and it was really, really disappointing.
When you got 30 minutes on your hands, go on to Netflix and watch that like after the Ozarks or whatever. Yeah. I think you'll have appreciation and you'll think to yourself, Ruth had to die. Ruth, it had to end that way. Because the girl who plays Ruth puts gives a good rundown on why she thinks it had to run that way. She ended that way. She convinced me.
All right.
And they do a lot of they give you more little insights on why they did what they did. And you're like, okay, so that makes I get that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm the guy. I don't have to agree with you as long as I understand where you're coming from. I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Right. It's still great.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to do the list. I think that'll be a fun thing. I also think I'm kind of curious to see where we are with shows we like, how close we are with some of them. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll be a fun episode for next time.
Yeah, we can turn it into an argument.
Yeah.
I fucking can't stand doing that, but it will be. I think it will.
Yeah, but you and I argue differently, I think, than most people because we won't get in our feelings about the whole thing.
Yeah, because we grew up earlier.
Right. But now sometimes people can't argue with just being in their feelings about everything.
No, because it turns into fucking insults. You know what I mean?
And somehow everything nowadays turns political. Everything. Even sports groups now, every fucking post, somebody has to post somehow turned into some political shit. So every argument turns political.
Did you see that Disney's making a movie about Giannis?
No, but him and his brother. Oh, yeah, I heard. I didn't know it was Disney. Him and his brothers, which I think it's funny because the only reason his other brother's in the NBA because the Bucks were like, yeah, we'll sign your brother and let him be the last guy on the bench.
Yeah.
I think in his first season, he got 7 minutes of playing time.
Oh, shit. Is he playing in somewhere else? Or is he still
was
on the
Bucks? In the G League, too, but...
Is he
I
still?
think they're going to keep Giannis's brother on the bench just to make Giannis happy and have his brother there. Oh. And who gives a fuck who's the 14th guy, right? Or the 18th guy on a team.
Yeah, they don't even mention him or show him that that's his brother.
I wouldn't have known he was on the Thaddeus team. Or whatever the name is close to that. Yeah.
That's going to be a fucking game tomorrow, dude.
I am so mad, right? Don't even get me fucking started. Mm-hmm. We should be at home, taking a rest, getting ready for the next round.
You should be.
What?
I'm down with the Celtics. You see this?
No, I
shit?
meant we as the Bucks.
Where is this? Look at this. Did you see this? I ever show you this?
No, but I'm saying we as the Bucks. You can say we as the Celtics.
Look at it. Look at it. You see
I
it?
threw up a little in my mouth.
Right?
Hey, have you been watching Winning Time?
Yeah, I finished it.
Did they make the Celtics not look like the most racist team in the history of racist teams?
That was bad. He won the championship. He came home and there's a human shit in his bed.
Yeah, fuck, man.
I bet that fucking happened, dude.
I got 2 episodes left. I gotta finish. That's something we'll have to review though, because I gotta talk about Jerry West being in his feelings for real.
Yeah. Jerry West is my favorite character on there. He's so fucking hyper, dude.
Yeah, but in real life, Jerry West is in his feelings about this show.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, go look at, before we ever review it, go read what the Bus family, Magic Johnson, and Jerry West had to say.
Yeah.
They're all super mad about this show.
Yeah.
And then Kareem. So Kareem said something about, do you know the part when that kid walks up and says, Mr. Kareem, can I have your autograph? And he goes, go fuck yourself, kid.
Yeah.
So Kareem said something about that. And 2 or 3 NBA players who play right now said, I met Kareem as a kid, and that's exactly how he treated me.
Ooh. Sucks to be you, buddy. Out on Front
And
Street.
is it Jonah Hill who's doing that show? Is that it? I think it's Jonah Hill who's producing it, but whoever's producing it wrote a letter back to Jerry West and said, we're only portraying you by the ways we were exactly told you are. So, you think they're coming out with another season?
I don't know. I really like the hoops action. Like, I think that was.
I think they should go all the way through Kobe.
Yeah.
I think they should do like 7 seasons and go all the way through Shaq and Kobe and all of it. I think we should just run with this show.
Yeah, I believe so. Because then you get to see Michael and all that shit.
Yeah, and I was a big, growing up, huge fucking Reggie Miller fan. Big Kobe Bryant fan, But like I said, basketball is weird to me. I am a Bucks fan as a team, but I cheer for individual players as long as they're not playing the Bucks. So
yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of where sports is.
Yeah, I'm not like that with football though.
Oh, Barr didn't even have a fucking football team.
Huh?
Jeremy Barr, he didn't even pick a fucking team, dude. He goes, I just watch the players. He goes, I just appreciate individual players. I'm like, what?
Okay, did he play a lot of fantasy football?
No.
Because that'd be the perfect guy to play fantasy football.
Yeah.
Do you play fantasy football?
I have.
Well, you got an invite right now from me this year, 2nd annual Yankee and the Brit fantasy football. You need to sign up and get you one of these.
Nice. I will. Coney Island Warriors coming at you.
I was the Yankee Assassins.
That's a good one.
I was the Yankee Assassins, and I didn't even make the fucking playoffs.
That happens. I don't do good after like injuries and shit take place.
And how we let a fucking Brit win fantasy football, I'm still not sure.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to rectify that.
Yeah, beginner's luck. It was Maddie's first fucking time playing, and he won.
Yeah. He does watch a lot of football, though, right? He's a Cowboys
fan.
Yeah,
but he was in the championship game against another Brit. I felt so ashamed for us Americans. I was like, what are we doing? This is our sport. If this was soccer fantasy football, I'd get it.
They don't get all the other stuff over there, though. We're preoccupied with other more important things.
Like good weather and not having rainy, moss-covered shithole areas.
That's true.
Right. Don't kill me for that, British people. It was a joke.
But it's kind of true.
A little bit. A lot of moss, a lot of overcast.
Never been.
No, but Maddie tells me all the time it's overcast and raining most of the time. And he tells me that 85 is way too fucking hot. And I'm like, well, we can't hang out then.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine, though.
So, well, all right, guys. That's this episode. We talked about Ozark and a bunch of other random shit. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, like, he always says, "Go fuck yourself."
For real.
All
I
right.
fucking mean that shit.
Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.